friends. Today I'm very excited to bring to you the fourth episode of Perspectives 2020. Today we have amongst us a very distinguished guest. He's a gold medalist CA and someone who has been in the industry for almost 25 years now. He's currently the MD and CEO of Kotak AMC. He wears many hats. He is in the Economic Advisory Council of the Prime Minister and is also the chairman of MC. He has seen many cycles and has deep understanding and insight into the world of investments and capital markets. So I'm very excited and looking forward to this conversation with him. Welcome, Mr. Nilesh sir. Thank you so much for coming in, sir.
Thank you, Mansi. It's my pleasure.
Thank you, Mansi, for the introduction. And thank you, Nilesh, for agreeing to do it with us this afternoon. We'll have this in a conversational style. So I'll just start it with a small note with our investors. So good afternoon, investors and friends. Today, Nilesh sir would be spending next 45 minutes with us in helping us understand markets and different aspects of investing. I wish to share with you, and specifically with all the clients who are watching it with us today, that Nilesh Bhai is one of the best storytellers that I have seen in my career. And he has a habit of making difficult things most simple. And every time I have interacted with him in last 10 years of my career in different stages, I have learned something new every time. And I'm absolutely sure this time is not going to be different. We will spend next 45 minutes talking to him and taking his advice on how we should remain invested in this case.
Yes, Vikas. I'm ready.
Great, sir. Thank you. So, sir, how are you looking at current things happening globally and domestically? We are in a pandemic. World is on stimulus and printing is happening all across. And market across the globe are almost closer to their highs or have recovered really well from the March lows. What should investors make out of it?
So one, because this is the most unprecedented crisis we are seeing in our lifetime. Na bhuto na bhavishyati type event hai. In the past, Spanish flu could come nearer to what we are witnessing today, but that was well before we were born. Even if you do Google search and go to archives of newspaper of that time, it's difficult to find correlation with today's behavior. Central bankers and government all have learned from 1929 Great Depression that by not taking action or by withdrawing stimulus earlier, you end up converting a recession into Great Depression. And today, in a democratic country, no political class can afford that. So all the central governments, all the central banks around the world are in a competition to provide fiscal and monetary stimulus. The total GDP drop in the world will be somewhere around $85 trillion to $73 trillion, a gap of about $12 trillion. And on the other hand, fiscal and monetary stimulus announced by the government and central bank is already upwards of $10 trillion. So this money, this liquidity will act as a put option on the market. ये market को गिरने नहीं देंगी.
Okay, so basically you are trying to tell us, sir, that one should not underestimate Fed right now, and irrespective of any fundamentals of an asset, it is bound to be going up, at least for now.
The first part I agree कि you should not underestimate power of Fed. Stanley Druckenmiller also mentioned the same thing few days ago, where he said, look, markets are up because I underestimated power of Fed. But at the same time, will all asset class continue to go up? Answer is no. Market today is discounting certain behavior or certain future. For example, at 10,500 Nifty, market is discounting that India will become current account surplus. Our gold imports are down in the month of April and May by 98%. Our oil imports will be down because oil prices are lower. And ye boycott China goods ka jo mahol chala hai, could there be reduction in trade deficit with China? Answer is yes. So overall, we will be saving anywhere between $60 to $80 billion in current account this year. That is discounted by the market. Market is also discounting an early medical solution. When I say early, it doesn't mean tomorrow, but certainly based on 8 vaccines going into phase 3 trial, market is expecting that maybe by September, maybe by October, we'll have a vaccine ready. Of course, it won't reach every single patient in the world, but available vaccine will give confidence that now normal economic activity can resume. The third thing market is discounting is that FPIs will be continuous buyer of Indian stock. Now, this is coming based on FTSE and MSCI index rejigs. FTSE ने अपना index rejig announce किया है September 20, December 20, March 21, June 21. MSCI was supposed to announce on 30th June, but उन्होंने defer किया है, but it should happen someday. Now, both this index rejigs increases India's weight in benchmark index, and they will bring between $3 to $7 billion to Indian equity over a period of time. More importantly, market is also discounting that this year, rural India will do better compared to urban India based on available data. Monsoon is good, Manrega allocations have increased, fertilizer sales are higher, two-wheeler sales are normalizing, tractor sales are record high, cement sales are higher compared to last year, Rabi crop was 10 million ton more than advance estimate, Kharif sowing is 40% higher than last year. Put all these things together, Bharat will be positive GDP growth this year. And hence, the overall impact on FY21 GDP will be somewhere between -5 to -7% and not more. Now, all these factors market has discounted. Now, if these factors continue to be proved right, markets will rise, asset class will rise. But God forbid, if one of the assumption goes wrong, then markets will correct also.
So, in such a scenario, what would be your advice to our investors per se, sir? I mean, I want you to divide it between two kind of investors. Someone who completely missed out this rally to buy something when it was available sometime in March and April, and someone who remained invested across this chaos.
So, because in today's world, if someone can say that I'll calculate the profit of a company, he must be lying. In today's world, how will you forecast quarterly numbers for June or September or December when there's so much of uncertainty? You are bound to go wrong when you try to discount something which is difficult. So you'll have to evaluate valuation on a simple principle of market cap to GDP ratio. On 17th of Jan, India's market cap to GDP ratio was 78% when index was 12,000 Nifty. On 23rd of March, markets corrected 35% from 12,000 to reach 7,600 and market cap to GDP ratio became 51%. Today, as we speak, market is up roughly about 36%, index is 10,500 and market cap to GDP ratio is 70%. Now, try to increase your weightage in equity looking at market cap to GDP ratio. The historical average market cap to GDP ratio is 73%. It was 76% few months ago, but now as markets corrected, average has come down. So on 17th of Jan, when market cap to GDP ratio was higher than average, albeit at that time market cap to GDP ratio was 76%, you should be either neutral weight equity or you should be marginally underweight equity because markets were higher than the average. Today, average has fallen from 76 to 73 and market is trading at 70%. So you should be either neutral or marginally overweight because you are trading little below average. But at 7,600 Nifty, when market cap to GDP ratio was 51%, you should have become super overweight. Now, it doesn't mean that आप exactly 12,000 पे profit book करो, exactly 7,600 पे invest करो. Well, ये तो कोई नहीं कर पाएगा. What it means is that somewhere between 11,000 to 12,000 Nifty, you would have taken some profit out. Somewhere between 9,000 to 7,600, you would have kept on increasing your weight in equity. By doing this, you will definitely not capture top and bottom. You will definitely capture bottom. You will definitely capture the upside. But at 7,600 Nifty, when market cap to GDP ratio was 51%, you should have become super overweight. Now, it doesn't mean that आप exactly 12,000 पे profit book करो, exactly 7,600 पे invest करो. Well, ये तो कोई नहीं कर पाएगा. What it means is that somewhere between 11,000 to 12,000 Nifty, you would have taken some profit out. Somewhere between 9,000 to 7,600, you would have kept on increasing your weight in equity. By doing this, you will definitely not capture top and bottom. but you will be able to capture top quartile and bottom quartile. आपने उस तरह से अपने आप को निवेश किया मार्केट में, then discipline wise you will buy at a lower level, sell at a higher level. Automatically आपकी entry और exit सही हो जाएगी. So try to look at market cap to GDP ratio to determine what should be your weight in equity. At 51% market cap to GDP ratio, you should be super overweight, because the bottom market cap to GDP ratio was just about 43%. At 71%, 70% market cap to GDP ratio, be marginal overweight or neutral weight, because now you are trading near historical average. Now let's assume someone has made no investment in equity. He has to go from 0% to 50%. Now, already equity markets are trading below average. So you have to make investments now, despite COVID-19 related worries. But you can't put 50% lump sum, because today market is at 70%, tomorrow it could be at 51% also. So my recommendation will be that you put 25% of your money or 50% of the money which you want to invest into market when market cap to GDP ratio is below historical average. Another 25% you try to invest whenever the gap is widening. That way you will be able to average yourself into the market at current level, and then as market recovers, you will see the benefit. Because by something like this happens in balance advantage fund category, if I remember numbers correctly, and I'm just talking from my memory, in Jan 20, our equity investments in balance advantage fund was roughly 49%. In March 20, it was 80% maximum permissible. And today we are at 56%. So we had reduced exposure when market was expensive, increased exposure when markets were cheaper. And today we have booked some profit as market is becoming near its average. So balance advantage fund could be one fund which investors should consider if they haven't invested at all in the market and wants to invest in this market.
So then it brings me to the next question, sir, which I keep asking all my speakers, that asset allocation is one model which we all try to recommend to our investors. And balance advantage fund is one of the best category which is placed in this segment. So since you are an AMFI chairman as well, what would be your views on this particular specific segment? Can this not become the largest segment in our mutual fund category or in our offerings? Because the kind of job that this particular fund does, neither our multi-caps does, nor our large caps does, or nor any other thing which we have in offering does.
So because by what happens is that today many distributors and advisor does what balance advantage fund does for an investor. So my advice to every distributor is that you divide your customers in 3 brackets. 80% of your revenue will come from 20% of customers. Please do asset allocation at your end for them. They are your cream customers. They require personal touch. They require value add. By doing this asset allocation, you will be able to add value to your customers' portfolio. Of the balance 80%, which contributes 20% of your revenue, divide someone who is, let's say, bottom 50% of the customer. Now, their requirements are simple, and it will be impossible for you to give personal time to them and physical touch to them. Now, they also require asset allocation as much as the HNI, and which is where balance advantage fund or asset allocator funds will come into play. For this bottom of the pyramid, it's better that their asset allocation happens by the fund manager in the fund itself, as they may not have time to do such things on their own. On the other hand, for HNIs, the value add has to happen by the distributors. Otherwise, he will say, why am I requiring your services? So we will have both kind of products. One where HNIs with the help of advisor will do the asset allocation. And second, where retail investors will benefit from the asset allocation by the fund managers.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I want to take this conversation a bit forward, sir, and want your take on fixed income side. We have seen few defaults in credit space in our mutual fund industry. Winding up of 6 schemes of a mutual fund house is also something that we have seen. Last probably 6 months have been really turbulent for our debt investors. How should an investor position himself in debt?
So, because if last 6 months were tough, I will pray that similar kind of scenario prevails going forward. It is like Japan. When you are outside of Japan, you hear many people saying that Japan is a lost country. Nothing is happening over there. GDP growth is negative for years. Interest rates are zero for years. You go with an impression as if Japan is a troubled country. But when you go there, you realize that this is probably heaven on the earth. Least pollution, most polite people, extremely rich society, extremely caring society. So the perception and reality are different in Japan. The same thing happens about debt fund. I did this return calculation on 21st of May 2020, where 3-year performance of some of the funds have averaged from 7.58% to 9.54% in Kotak Mutual Fund. Kotak Money Market Fund delivered 7.58% return, and Kotak Dynamic Bond Fund delivered 9.54% return for 3 years as on 21st of May. Now, these are the funds where credit risk events haven't occurred. These portfolios were always invested in AAA rated quality portfolios. They played on interest rate for generating return. And over 3-year period, they have delivered between 7.5% to 9.5% return, which is not bad. Now, at various point of time, these funds did deliver occasional negative return, occasional lower return. But for a 3-year investor, it has delivered 2-3% more return than bank deposits with daily liquidity. Now, coming to credit risk fund, which is a small percentage of debt fund, the 3-year return is 7.14%. This is after taking hit on ILFS, Dewan Housing Finance, and Yes Bank. If there is some recovery from ILFS, Dewan, Yes Bank, this 7.14 can easily become 8. Unfortunately, because of judicial process, there is no recovery yet. But the hit has already been taken, and yet we have delivered 7% return. On a comparable bank FD basis, it has delivered 1.5% better return despite providing daily liquidity. So last 6 months have not been bad from a long-term investor point of view. Of course, someone who invested just 6 months ago is today saying that, oh, my returns are not there, it's negative return, and so on and so forth. But on a 3-year horizon, these things will even out. Now, Franklin Templeton announcing winding of 6 scheme is, their strategy and their outcome. It's like Virendra Sehwag trying to hit the baller on first ball, laga to chakka, nahi to wapas ghar pe. But that doesn't mean that a Cheteshwar Pujara or Rahul Dravid or Virat Kohli will have to go the same way. Their techniques is different, their adoption could be different. So what happened with Templeton is unique to them. Rest, all the mutual funds have continued running their businesses. We have been open for business all throughout COVID-19. Our portfolios have gone up and down, but we have delivered return to our investors on a 3-year basis. And even in credit risk fund, I think if I remember correctly, 23rd April, Templeton announced winding of schemes. There was panic on Friday and Monday because on Thursday evening, Templeton announced this. There were many WhatsApp warriors and social media gurus who came on television channels and media saying that you should redeem from credit risk fund. There was unexpected surge in redemption, so we had to sell our paper in a market where every buyer knew that we are a seller. But in just 2 days, over Friday and Monday, this panic subsided. There was 80% drop in redemptions by Friday itself. In the month of April, because we got redemptions, we had to sell and we had negative return. In the month of May and June, credit spreads came down because we are no longer desperate sellers. Our credit risk fund in just these 2 months have delivered more than 36% return annualized basis. मतलब absolute return 3% हो गया. Now, if the guy who didn't panic in April today is up 3%, the guy who panicked in April probably is down 4%. So this is the scenario where people, when they are misled by WhatsApp warriors and social media gurus, they end up taking emotional decision, panic-driven decision, and they lose money. But if they remain invested, looking at the portfolios, looking at the quality, looking at the performance, over 3-year period, all these ups and downs will get evened out. And I can assure you that over next 3 years, my credit risk fund will do as good a job as any other debt fund.
So, sir, are you trying to explain or say that, just like crisis is used in equity to get into them, similarly, debt is also, or maybe credit risk is also one category which is to be capitalized in the case of crisis?
See, every crisis because is an opportunity, but you don't jump into it without doing your research. So, for example, let's say there is a small cap fund which invested into penny stocks. From 100 rupees, it would have become 70 or 80 rupees by now. It would have been down by 70 or 80%, and NAV will be 20 or 30. Now, in last 1 month, Z Group shares have rallied. तो ये 20 का जो गिरा है वो probably आज 40 हो गया. Now, will you jump in because 20 has become 40, or will you remember कि नहीं भैया ये तो 100 का 20 होके 40 हुआ, अभी भी 60 down? There's no point investing in this kind of fund which has delivered 100% return because Z Group shares have gone up. If you fall from 10 to 1, you lose 90%. 1 to 2 is 100% return up. But still, from the top, 10 to 2 is 80% down. So you have to invest where quality is good. In credit risk fund, there will be some funds which had bad philosophy, which picked up wrong papers, and where losses are real. There are few funds where, one, their quality was good, so the losses are far less. And even within that, the structuring is good so that they'll be able to recover money. You should invest in this category of credit risk fund.
Great. Got it, sir. Sir, one more question which I wanted to ask you, though it was not a part of the questions that we had prepared, but somehow someone has sent it. The biggest problem that we face when we go to our investors, those who are predominantly debt investors, fixed deposit is the largest base when it comes to fixed income side. Now, these investors always complain to us that corporate bond markets in India is not as big or as can be compared with its global peers. So credit is not a problem. It is the liquidity which is the largest problem in debt fund, and that's probably the reason why they don't want to allocate largest possible corpus of theirs. How do you want to address this?
Undoubtedly, it's a very, very fair comment. But अभी chicken पहले आया था, अंडा पहले आया था, ये तो कैसे decide करेंगे? Size बढ़ेगी तो liquidity आएगी, size नहीं बढ़ेगी तो liquidity नहीं आएगी. Now, if you see history of debt mutual funds from 1997 when I joined to 2020, it's almost 23 years. In this 23 years, there are two incidences where a fund has not paid redemption on time. One was Mirae Asset Management in 2008 crisis. During subprime crisis, they stopped honoring redemptions in liquid fund. And 2020, Franklin Templeton, 6 months they have announced winding down. Other than this two funds and this 7 schemes, across mutual fund industry, no matter what happened, we have delivered redemptions on time every time to our investors. If I talk about Kotak Mutual Fund and many of my peers, well, we have always paid money on time, no matter what the crisis was. And a lot of this has been achieved in the same illiquid market. How are we able to achieve this miracle? Well, one, we have divided our portfolios in government securities, ESG bonds, and corporate debentures. Second, we have created asset liability model where I can predict consumer behavior. And we also provide some buffer on it. So in the month of April and May, I had provided for certain redemptions. Unfortunately, there was a surge, but yet I could honor it. But to honor that, I had to sell my papers at a higher yield. I incurred loss for my customer because they gave me unexpected redemptions. So by doing this asset liability matching, by dividing our portfolios across government securities, PSU bonds, and corporate debentures, we have been able to repay our investors every time on time for last 23 years. Over next 23 years, will our debt market be more deeper than the previous 23 years? Undoubtedly, yes. So my problems are getting lesser and lesser. If I could survive 1997 Asian crisis, 2008 subprime crisis, 2030 taper tantrum, and 2020 COVID-19, it does give confidence that we have something working for us.
One more aspect which I wanted to understand from you, sir, and a lot of people keep asking me, maybe you are the right guy who can answer this for us, that rating of India is always questioned. A country which holds $500 billion of reserves with us is rated lower to debt-laden companies of something like which is in Europe for that matter. I mean, how bizarre it is, and why investment community per se take it so seriously.
So one, if you see investment community, are they taking rating agencies seriously? Answer is no. Government of India's per se does not borrow in foreign markets, but companies like State Bank of India, Exim Bank, Power Finance Corporation, they go and borrow regularly in market. We normally get spread which is of A plus or A minus country rather than triple B minus, which rating agencies assign. And this is there for last 30 years since I have tracked market. Global investors have always given India much finer spread than what rating agencies are willing to give them in terms of rating. So for 30 years, I can tell you that rating agencies has not been trusted by investors as they price India much finer compared to its rating. Now, second thing, we would have thought that in America, racism kahan ho sakta hai. But Black Lives Matters is today going on all over the country in US as well as other parts of the world. Now, in such an advanced society, such educated society, if racism exists, don't you that will exist in rating also? They treat a Gora country in a different manner. They treat a brown country in a different manner. In fact, my argument with rating agencies is that what are you rating? You can't rate India's domestic rating, domestic borrowing as triple B minus because Government of India has unlimited printing capability. It can honor all obligations by printing currency. So by definition, every country in its local currency is AAA rated. Now let's assume that rating agencies are rating India's foreign borrowing. As you mentioned, my foreign exchange is $510 billion. My total foreign exchange debt is $565 billion. Of that, $130 billion is FCNRB, NRE, NRO deposits. 90% of NRE deposit gets rolled over. So effectively, if I take out $130 billion, 90%, it is almost $115 billion, $110 billion. You remove from 565, $110 billion, it becomes $455 billion. My reserves are $510 billion. So you are saying that a country which has more FX reserves than the debt should be rated triple B minus? Gade ho kya? How will rating agencies defend themselves? We have to go and ask questions to rating agencies because what is your logic? How are you rating this? The world's largest borrower, America, is rated AA plus. It was rated AAA. When the downgrading of America happened, the rating agency CEO lost his job, who unfortunately was an Indian. Now, with all this kind of things, why will investors give weightage to rating agencies? I don't think so. They are giving for last 30 years. It's just that our media does not recognize this. And whenever there is a forecast by World Bank, IMF, or a rating agency, they make a headline around it. बुरे की गुलामी करने की आदत तो हमारे खून में है, वो धीरे धीरे जाएगी.
As I told you, you'll put it the best way, and you actually put it that way. कि गोरे वाले हैं तो गोरों के साथ ही जाएगी. And I think the mistake lies in our media. I completely agree with you on that, sir. Sir, now I want to take this conversation a bit forward in a different side. In your current role at Kotak Mutual Fund as its MD and CEO, the size of the house has definitely grown a lot, and the house has also delivered on the returns to investor across categories. Can you briefly explain us investment framework and process followed both at equity and fixed income side?
So equity में एकदम simple process है. Buy good company, run by good managers at good prices. Good चाहिए. बोलना एकदम easy है, execute करने में जान निकलती है. What do I mean by good business? Any business which over a business cycle delivers more return than cost of capital is a good business. आप कमाते 8% है और 10% पे करना है तो कभी न कभी तो डिफॉल्ट होगा ही. But if you're earning 10% and you have to pay 8%, obviously it's profitable business. So we must invest in those businesses where return on equity is higher than cost of capital over a business cycle. Second, who are good managers? मतलब अब तो घर पे पेपर नहीं आता physically, we have to read digitally. But in the good days, when paper used to come to my house, I will always open Bombay Times and I'll see page 3. And my wife will always question, आप Economic Times पढ़ो, ये क्या page 3 लेके बैठे हैं? And I said, no, I want to go through page 3, all the photos, so that I can recognize how many of my entrepreneurs are going and partying rather than working. And trust me, just eliminating all those entrepreneurs who are going into page 3 parties regularly, avoiding their stock has delivered better return to me. You want to invest in a manager who is spending more time in business and less time in party. The third thing is good price. Now, everyone wanted to invest at 7,600 Nifty. But अगर आपके पास 50,000 करोड़ का फंड है तो आप इन्वेस्ट कैसे करेंगे? 7,600 निफ्टी पे तो 500 करोड़ भी नहीं मिलेगा. So how do you determine good prices? In our way, good price is a price at which my forecasted earnings growth will be higher than what is priced by the market. अगर मार्केट 500 रुपए का भाव और 10 का पी दे रहा है किसी स्टॉक को, एक्सपेक्टिंग कि ये 8% अर्निंग्स ग्रोथ करेगा, and if I buy that stock believing that it will deliver 12% earnings growth, I have already created a margin of safety for me. So we want to invest in good quality businesses, good quality management, and at reasonable price, at good price. This three then gets filtered across liquidity counter, across sectoral and stock diversification counter, across analyst opinion. Suppose analyst किसी स्टॉक पे बहुत बुलिश है और फंड मैनेजर एकदम बेरिश है, दोनों opposite side पे हैं, तो we restrict their ability to move away from benchmark. Because अगर analyst गलत है और फंड मैनेजर सही है तो उसने नहीं इन्वेस्ट किया, बहुत अच्छा. But what if analyst is right and fund manager is wrong? तब नहीं इन्वेस्टमेंट किया वो तो बहुत भारी पड़ेगा. So we narrow their range to move away from benchmark when they are on contra side. But if both of them are in agreement, because ये स्टॉक तो बेकार है, दूर रहते हैं, so you go far away from benchmark. That risk management of ensuring that research and fund management are together also helps you outperform benchmark indices. So broadly, equity में अच्छी कंपनी लेनी है, अच्छी बिजनेस लेनी है, अच्छे मैनेजर्स के साथ निवेश करना है और सही दाम पे लेना है. Partly this philosophy is driven by 2000 experience, where one investor from Kolkata only called me up and said, Nilesh bhai, ये जिस तरह से आपने पैसा खोया by buying Himachal Global, वो तो मैं भी कर सकता था. आपकी क्या जरूरत थी? At least when you are losing money, try to lose money on stocks which I would not buy. So that was a very good tip. That was a very good suggestion. And from that day onwards, I have ensured that whenever we have invested in real business. On the fixed income side, हमारा जो फॉर्मूला है वो SLR है. In the market, SLR is statutory liquidity ratio, but in our parlance, it is safety first, liquidity second, return third. I am running open-ended debt funds in an illiquid market, so liquidity is paramount. But before liquidity, safety of principal is paramount. If I'm not going to get return of principal, why should I worry about return on principal? ब्याज पे आज ठीक है, बट मुद्दल वापस आना चाहिए. मुद्दल गंवा के ₹2 ब्याज ज्यादा कमाने का कोई फायदा नहीं है. We can't be investing like chit fund. So safety first, liquidity second, and then the return. That helps us on the credit side, on the fixed income. This is broadly our philosophy, very simple to explain, very difficult to execute, but which is why we require professional fund managers with discipline to ensure that they remain within their boundaries.
Sir, pretty well put. I think we are coming almost to end of this session now, and I want to spend maybe 5-7 minutes, as per the request of some of our young investors, in knowing you as an individual and how you have achieved so much in your life. I would like to start this conversation that money management is a very demanding business. How can you remain so composed, so soft-spoken every time? Whenever I have met or interacted with you on any platform for that matter, I have seen you, sir, losing your cool on any matter, on anything for that matter. What's the secret behind it? I mean, how can you be so composed every time?
So one, because this has happened over a period of time. पहले मैं भी काफी arrogant था, but फिर पता चला कि arrogant बन के या ईगो दिखा के मिलता क्या है. मार्केट में हमसे बहुत ज्यादा स्मार्ट लोग हैं, हमसे बहुत ज्यादा रिटर्न बनाने वाले लोग भी हैं. And over the years, I'm lucky to work with bosses who have guided me in right direction. And I'll give you a simple example. एक यंग लड़का था, हम लोग एक कॉन्फ्रेंस में गए. So someone introduced me to him. Very young, childish looking boy, and he was talking about the stock. Now, if I was arrogant, if I was egoistic, I would have brushed him off and said, "Boss, अभी दूध के दांत फूटे नहीं, तो मेरे को क्या सिखा रहा है?" But I was trained by various circumstances कि वो सबकी सुनो. You never know who is smarter than you. And this guy started explaining about a company. His explanation was far deeper than my knowledge for sure, but even my analyst knowledge. I heard him out for 10 minutes and I said, देख बेटा, 10 मिनट में तो तूने जो बोला बहुत impressive है, but क्या मैं तेरे को फोन कर सकता हूँ मेरे एनालिस्ट के साथ और फंड मैनेजर के साथ कि तूने क्या किया है, हमें सुनना है. He said, sure अंकल, आप बोलो तो अभी. बोला तेरा एक नंबर दे दे, मैं कल तेरे को फोन करता हूँ. आज तो अभी ये कॉन्फ्रेंस चालू है, तो मैं जाता हूँ वहां पे. He said, sure sir. Next day we called up. The guy had done fantastic research, and fortunately, the insight which he provided to us, we were able to use in building our portfolio and make money. Now, ये तो तकदीर की बात थी कि वो बच्चे से मैं मिल गया. उसको कोई देख नहीं रहा था, बट भगवान ने किसी को मेरे पास भेजा कि जा बेटा इसके साथ मिल ले. Now, how can I let go that opportunity? If I was egoistic, if I would have expected everyone to come and meet me, if I would have given respect only to Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, equivalent people and not to a young person, तो ये तो सारी opportunity मेरी waste जाती. Market इतना बड़ा है कि जितना सबसे सुन सके, समझ सके, सीख सके, it is always value added to you. So all those experiences have been built over the years, which has said कि जितना ego कम रखो, मार्केट में आपकी टेन्योर बढ़ जाती है.
Right. Sir, market से याद आया, I have read somewhere, a story about you that when you were into fund management business, particularly on equity side, when you were managing some of the fund, I don't remember the year exactly, कि दो स्टोरी बोली जाती है सर, दो हैदराबाद बेस्ड कंपनीज थी, एक सत्यम और एक डेक्कन क्रॉनिकल, and they both failed miserably. And yet you were one guy on the street who actually made money, got out of both the companies at right time. मतलब how do you want to state it? मतलब you were lucky और आपको लगता है this was more to do with your analytical skill that you just came out of it?
So in Deccan Chronicle, I will say I was lucky. We had invested in the company after doing a lot of research. We had done a lot of meetings and everything was working well. Then one day, an analyst from Nomura came and he told me that Nilesh bhai, ye Deccan Chronicle mein issues hai. Deccan mein issues hai. And my initial reaction was this, झूठ बोल रहा है, मेरा सबसे बड़ा होल्डिंग है, सबसे अच्छा परफॉर्मिंग स्टॉक है और तू मेरे को बोल रहा है. But somewhere that again sixth sense came to me, यार ये बंदा बोल रहा है तो सुन तो ले. That guy gave some idea about advertising market in Hyderabad versus revenue stated by Deccan Chronicle. And I said, एक काम कर, तू थोड़ा research करके, what you're saying is making sense, but तू थोड़ा proof लेके आ. After a week, he came back saying that this is the last week's newspapers of Deccan, and this is the advertising in Deccan. This is the total centimeter used. Now, the revenue which they are talking about on a yearly basis, if we juxtapose on this weekly average, they are charging more for advertising than Times of India. And that can never happen. How can someone charge more than TOI? That means there was something wrong. We requested MP boss to एक week का क्या भी एक महीने का भी करके दे. That guy delivered us 1 month's calculation which showed that there was enhancement of revenues, especially by booking advertising income. That was a red flag. We were lucky that this gentleman brought his research to us. We were stupid and naive that we didn't do this analysis for ourselves. And we were able to exit the stock. When we were selling the stock, on the other hand, there were some very, very famous investors buying. एक बार फिर doubt was हम बेच रहे हैं और सामने तो तोप खरीद रहा है. But we continued to trust that gentleman's research and eventually it proved correct for us. On Satyam, I wouldn't call myself lucky. There, I would like to give credit to little bit of analytics we did. So every single IT company was major investor in mutual fund. Infosys, Wipro, HCL Tech, Tech Mahindra. But Satyam never invested in us. So there was one red flag. Is this guy having cash? Why is he not investing in mutual fund? Based on that, when we analyzed their balance sheet, we recognized that there is no interest income on their massive surplus liquidity. It was almost as if that from 1st April to 30th March, these monies were lent out to group companies, and on 31st of March, they were shown as deposits in the current account. We never knew that the promoter would have taken the money out. We just thought that he's cycling of money to his group companies for bulk of the year and bringing back only towards the end. Either way, we were not comfortable investing with that company whose balance sheet does not reflect interest income on surplus liquidity, or who doesn't invest in us. That analytics, gave us the edge, and we remained under-invested. Satyam. This is combination of skill and luck sometimes, because you have to be smarter than other player in the market. And which is where again I said, by remaining humble, by listening to everyone, it really makes a big difference. कभी एक बच्चे को सुन लिया तो उसने इतना अच्छा रिसर्च दिया, we made a lot of money on it. कभी we heard a seasoned analyst who was nice enough and kind enough to point out our mistakes which we had not considered, which we had not researched, and it again helped us make money. So it is skill as well as luck.
Right, sir. So lastly, I wish to ask you, in all our conversations and discussion across different forums, you have always given us stories from mythology, Ramayana, Mahabharata. That makes me believe that you have a lot of belief in spirituality. I wish to ask you what role spirituality has played in your life in helping you reach wherever you have reached today.
Undoubtedly, मतलब अपने में एक कहावत है कि समय से पहले और नसीब से ज्यादा कभी किसी को नहीं मिलता है. Before the time and more than your destiny, you can never achieve. Now, how do you build your destiny? Destiny is not written based on your past life. Destiny is written based on what you are doing in present life. If you are fair and honest to people, things will move in your favor one day or other. If you do your job honestly, sincerely, with an intention to add value to someone else, it does come back to support you in one way or other. And in my case, there was this Munshi Premchand's story where there was a teacher, a police officer, and a government officer. They went on a Tirth Yatra, and obviously, police and government officers were far richer than this teacher. But the recognition was of the teacher by the student who found them in a desperate situation and supported it and helped them. And that was the wealth earned by that teacher. It was not material, but it was beyond material. So my objectives in life today is to gain respect, is to gain goodwill. लोगों से दुआएं बटोरनी है, because that will help me change my destiny. That will help me improve my destiny. शॉर्टकट लेके लाइफ में कोई फायदा नहीं होता. जो यहाँ पे काम किया भुगतना भी यहीं पे है. अच्छे काम करो, अपने आप आपका अच्छा होगा. And I am fortunately in a business where one, I make enough money for myself. More importantly, I can get blessings from people for making money for themselves. And it manifests in various forms. In fact, for 4 years, because I had left mutual fund industry to join Axis Capital. And the reason why I came back to mutual fund industry was that I was invited to attend a mutual fund conference as a speaker. And I went there after 3 years away from mutual fund. And everyone in the audience knew that Nilesh is going to come. There were many friends with whom I had lost touch because I was no longer in mutual fund. And when I entered the hall to go to the stage, virtually at every row, I found someone who was giving me something. कोई सिंग लेके आया, कोई नमकीन लेके आया, कोई मिठाई लेके आया. By the time I could reach stage, I had 2 people helping me to hold those things. And then I recognized that boss, मैं कहाँ गलत इंडस्ट्री में घुसा हूँ, इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग में. मेरी जगह यहाँ पे है. यहाँ पे मुझे आज भी लोग याद कर रहे हैं. मेरे लिए ये लोग भले छोटे मोटे चीजें थी, बट लेके आए याद करके कि नहीं, नीलेश भाई को 3 साल के बाद मिलेंगे. I have to give this to him. This is the goodwill. This is the dua which we have created. Why work in some other industry? And I came back to mutual fund.
No, genuinely it is, Nilesh bhai, and I can tell you, because of your official meeting yesterday, we could not do this session. I can tell you, sir, I have received at least 100 WhatsApps asking me कि भाई होगा कि नहीं होगा. We keep speaking to so many of the speakers, and everyone is good in their own capacity. But the kind of following and the kind of expectation people have out of you is unprecedented, I can tell you, sir, and people expect a lot out of you.
नहीं, उनका भरोसा ही है हमारे लिए, जो सबसे बड़ी मूड़ी है, सबसे बड़ी दौलत है. मार्केट तो ऊपर नीचे चलता रहेगा, तो लोगों का भरोसा कभी नीचे नहीं जाना चाहिए. And that is what I tell my fund managers, my sales people, because we are in the business of managing trust and confidence. And trust and confidence कांच की तरह होता है, छोटा सा पत्थर लगता है टूट जाएगा. So you have to work very, very hard to protect that trust and that confidence. And you never know how it will come to support you, how it will come back to help you. I'll give you an instance. I went to meet a doctor for my wife. He was Mumbai's one of the best doctors. And we had to wait out for a long time. When I entered in, he took me and my wife in, diagnosed us very nicely, spent a lot of time. There was no hurry on his part. And when we moved out, his secretary asked that, so I asked his secretary how much money I have to pay. So he said, did the doctor give you a check? I said, no, he hasn't given. So she picked up a phone, talked to him and said, no, there's no money required. And I was like wondering, why no money? This guy is the most expensive doctor of Mumbai. So I said that, why? So he said, no, sir said not to charge you. I said, but can I ask something why this is happening? He said, हाँ जाओ अंदर. So before his next patient could go in, I picked in again. He said that, sir, you are not charging me any money. And he simply said that, Nilesh bhai, आपके ऊपर मैंने काफी पैसा बनाया है. Just keep on doing the good work. Now imagine the gratitude you get. If you would have charged, it wouldn't matter to me. I was in a position to pay. But the fact that he didn't charge me for the work I have done gave me such a huge confidence. And probably that is the gratitude, that is the respect which all of us should gather in this business, because we can really make money for people right away. If we make people rich, they will remember it. It will help them achieve so many of their financial obligations and objectives. And दुआएं मिलेगी जो हमारे लिए का बहुत काम आएगी.
Absolutely, sir. And there's no doubt about it. There is no doubt about it, because when people speak so good about you, we as a mutual fund professionals also feel very, enlightened and very good about it, that, we get to learn and need so much out of you. And I can tell you, sir, I mean, in our investing fraternity, in our customer base, people are big fan of yours. I mean, this is one session which people were waiting big way, and I have received so many calls and WhatsApp yesterday, as I told you in last conversation, that people were eagerly waiting for it to happen. And I'm really happy to you, so that you ended up doing it the next day, so that it has not gone up. Sir, lastly, we have a lot of young students also, joining us on this call. You read a lot, sir. Anything specific that you would recommend them, on the reading side, which will help them becoming better and good investors over the years?
Because by reading a book or an article is not important. Reading should become your habit. Reading should become part and parcel of your day-to-day life. जैसे आपको खाने बगैर नहीं चलेगा, जैसे आपको सांस लिए बगैर नहीं चलेगा, वैसे ही रीडिंग नहीं किया तो दिल में बेचैनी आनी चाहिए, बिकॉज आज मैंने कुछ मिस कर दिया. There are many fitness followers, when they don't do jogging or when they don't do their training, they feel something is missing. For body, the way exercise is necessary, for mind, reading is necessary. Make it a habit to read and read anything. मतलब मैं जब छोटा था तो मेरे को रामायण महाभारत पढ़ने को बोला गया था, मैंने पढ़ लिया. And I was wondering, because मतलब ये रामायण महाभारत कहाँ काम आएंगे? मैथ्स, साइंस, फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री ये काम आएंगे. And today, fortunately for me, in the market, Ramayana and Mahabharata is working well. These are spiritual, things, but it gives so much insight about human behavior. Market is as much about fundamental as human behavior. What I read in Mahabharata is today helping me in managing money. I could achieve this only because I made reading my habit. So many mistakes I have been able to avoid or recognize early because I am reading stuff. When you read, your ignorance gets destroyed. And your ignorance doesn't get destroyed by reading just one book or one best book. Keep on reading, keep on reading, keep on reading as a habit, just like breathing, just like exercising. It will make your mind stronger. It will allow mind to process multiple information, and that will become your edge vis-a-vis someone else who is not a prolific reader.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot for agreeing to do this session with us. It has absolutely been enlightening. Let me tell you one thing for sure out of this interaction, for a young individual and for a young entrepreneur like me, you have really given a very strong message that in this industry, if you need to grow, trust is going to be very important. And we really need to live up to that. That trust is only going to take us higher. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for spending time with us.
Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay invested.